Hello, friends. My name is Emelina Calder. Welcome to I'm Woke. In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through an energy update, a collective reading for the themes, whatever's going to come up, whatever we most need to know on behalf of your highest good and the highest good of all involved for the week of March 31st to April 7th. I have some cards with me. I'm going to pull some oracle cards and get the read, and or I'll just straight channel with my psychic abilities. Also, my guides led me to some books that I might just randomly flip to. But this is going to be a vibe. I don't know what's going to come through or what's going to be said, but I'm totally here for it. So if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss any energy updates and fun, like awesome sauce videos, because really, I talk about all the things. Energy, spirituality, personal development, stepping into the highest version of yourself. I am a high performance life coach, a business and personal branding coach, digital marketing coach, a psychic medium, an Akashic Records reader and practitioner. That's what I got for the moment. A cosmic shaman. And I help people activate and understand and step into their highest timelines, their highest potential, the highest, best version of themselves, stepping away from like who they were conditioned to be through society, through their family norms, everything else, and becoming who they want to be and the like highest expression of their soul. So that's what I do. And now I'm going to jump into our reading. And I haven't worn this dress in quite a while, and today just felt like the vibe, but it's a little big. So I'm dealing with that. All right, I'm just tapping into my own Akashic Records right now. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Akashic Records, I've got an entire playlist and a free training on my website. If you go to iamemelina.com/training, where you can learn about the Akashic Records, which is the blueprint to the soul, and help you tap into your own psychic gifts, abilities, understand your own intuition. If you're interested in that, I've also got a free guided meditation that I'm going to leave a link in the description below called the Sacred Rainbow Flame of Creation, that helps strengthen your own source connection, dissolve any like static, energetic static, interference, anything that doesn't belong in your energy fields, and gives you like a nice, clean, vibrant restart. Now, before I jump in, I want to mention, because last week's biggest collective theme was on psychic attacks, I shot an entire activation for you guys last week. That is a guided meditation that if you go back in my live streams in the feed and find that guided meditation, it's probably a couple videos back, it will help you strengthen and clear your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual energetic body to give you the strength to think your own goddamn thoughts and not have interference from everybody and their fucking mom. Which, if I can be honest, it's been real. As psychic as I am, I've been picking up on everything. And I'm like, why are people sending me these thoughts and these energies? It doesn't even make sense. Some of these people I don't even know. I'm like, these are strangers. It's nonsense. Anyway, you know, we roll with the punches here with spirit. So I'm going to pull some themes. Actually, let me just check in. Is there an overall theme for the week? Spirit, what do you most want the collective to know right now? Go with the flow. Okay, so they're showing me us like almost like a ping pong ball. Like you're being tossed around in a lot of different directions. You might feel a little bit scattered. Essentially, your life, or your energy rather, is being reorganized and rearranged. And in the process of that rearranging, you feel like a ping pong ball. It's just like things are you're being tossed around or like tossed about energetically by the universe. Just remember to keep yourself with source. Don't try to resist the way that your higher self is leading you. So like, excuse me, if you think about yourself bopping around like a ping pong ball, being tossed about, and that's what spirit wants you to do right now because your life is being rearranged, okay? And that's necessary for whatever reason that I cannot explain. If you tense up or try to resist emotionally or resist mentally or try to make it all make sense to you because it's not going to make sense, and they're telling me as much as I like to make sense of things, this does not make sense to the human brain. If you try to make sense of it and try to force it into some sort of context that you're going to understand, that causes rigidity and resistance, which prevents your ability to be soft, relaxed, and to find the way through and be perceptive enough in your awareness to be able to make the changes and bop back and forth with, they're actually showing me their timeline adjustments or timeline movements, jumping different portals, different timelines, in order to get where you want to go, in order to step into the highest, most authentic version of yourself. You're going to be thrown around like a rag doll. Maybe that's why I have this dress on right now. What's that doll from like the 80s or whatever? Like, I feel like a rag doll. Don't try to make it make sense. Don't try to be rigid about it and about the process. Now, let me just track that thought through. How do we not be rigid? Allow whatever is happening around you to happen. Don't make it mean anything. Be relaxed about it and assume that even if it doesn't look perfectly like the way you want it to, or that whatever you would assume it would need to look like in order to work out, that it is actually working out, and that it might just take an extra moment to click into place. Be patient. That is the energy that is coming through. It's like, if you could be patient enough to sit back and allow the universe to rearrange things in front of you, make a mess of whatever the hell needs to be rearranged. If you're patient long enough, it will be cleaned up for you. And by long enough, I mean just through the week. Just be patient. Don't jump the gun on any single event or conversation and be like, this didn't work out because it didn't look the way that it had to look, and see, that's going to cause problems throughout whatever this timeline is, what I thought was going to happen. It's not true. They're showing me that there's a random, it's not actually random, but there's a random sequence of events coming up for you guys. That's why they were telling me it's not going to look or be perceived mentally. And the more mental you are about it, the harder it's going to be to understand. Because the human brain has a logical processing power, right? Like, we need things to make sense in a logical, linear fashion. The way that the events are unfolding this week, there is nothing logical about it. It will be a random sequence of events. And I say random in air quotes because nothing is random. It's all synchronistic. It is all telling of the energies that are moving, expressing, and changing, for you, about you, around you, all to support you. And I'm being led somewhat. Let me just track if I need to talk about that or just kind of move through it. They said move through it. Okay. This is one of those events, all right? I don't normally pull from books in my streams, as you guys know, but I literally, when our guides say random events, it's almost like your spirituality is on autopilot. So just pay attention to where you're naturally led and don't override those feelings or those like instincts. Just go with it. So I went to my bookcase on autopilot. There was no thinking involved. And I pulled out these two books and I was like, I don't know if I need to read these today. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just pull them on stream. Maybe I'll like pull to a random page. I'm sure, for sure, I'll get the read energetically if I were to do that. And then I was like, I never do that. And that was a moment where I could have overridden that guidance and just been like, nah, whatever, I'll just do what I always do. What the theme of our collective guides are bringing through in the Akashic Records is trust the random sequence, show up differently, show up as a new version of yourself, meaning don't fall back into your previous habits and patterns. How do I explain this? It's like when the opportunity comes up or that little instinct that's like, do this differently, don't override it by saying, but that's not how I do things. I'm going to go back to the way that I do them. Try on the different thing. That is clearly why I put on this dress today too, because they're literally telling me now, they're like, Emelina, you haven't worn this dress in like 2 years. They're like, it's like, it's just a flowery dress. But it's like, try it on like you're trying on clothing. Okay, so try on the ideas, try on the new habits, just try them on. They don't have to stick. They just have to be new, and in them being new, you open up your ability to perceive and to receive. from the universe, like higher, gosh, it's just so mental, higher timelines, but like, what is it really? New probabilities that will only come to you if you're able to see things in a new way. An easy way of seeing things in a new way is to do things in a new way. It creates different neural pathways, which allows you to see and perceive differently. Okay? So with that, I'm going to show you the 2 books I pulled out, and I'm literally just going to pull 2 random passages, see what comes up for a theme, and then I don't normally pull tarot, but I was guided to the tarot deck, so I might pull a card from there. We'll see how this goes, because this is new. Okay? That's what we're rocking and rolling with here. I'm going to tell you the 2 books, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull a passage. So those of you that want some like textbook metaphysical reading, Vadim Zayland has the Reality Transurfing. This is a textbook. It is a beast, you guys. I also have marked the shit out of it. But anyway, if you want like to learn like a college student about metaphysics, have it that. There's a lot of concepts, what I enjoy about this, that he's explained in here that I've channeled, and he just explains it in a different way, a little bit of a more logical way almost, whereas I'm like functioning based on the channeled information that comes through from the universe. All right, so anyway, source, where do you want to bring my attention for this week? What does the collective most need to know right now? They're literally just talking in my ear, so I'm just listening. Hang on, you guys. They're saying it's not how you do anything, it's when you do it. There's like a, I don't know if I'll be able to explain this yet, but there's it's almost like a time sequence that's opening up for you guys. New realities are opening up this week. It's like portals before the eclipse on the 8th. I think it's an Aries solar eclipse. Things that you haven't thought of yet, like literally new realities. Like those of you that have vision boards that are like, in the next 10 years, I'm going to do pop, 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 and I'm visualizing it and stuff, like this week, likely, and this is intended to also be a timeless message. Whenever you land on it, you will be delivered the prosperity and knowledge that you need in the moment. But it's like this week, you are going to experience the opening of like a timeline or 2 that are drastically different and new than anything you've ever seen for yourself or perceived for yourself. That could be like a career change. I don't know. Like they're showing me, like, those of you, this is just an example. They're trying to give me a concrete example because I'm asking them for it. It's like, let's say you never wanted to have a family or never wanted kids, and then all of a sudden this week something clicks into place and you're like, actually, like, I want to explore that option. Or like you have a career that is literally tracked into one specific thing and you've been focused on it and working on it, and then all of a sudden this week you're like, but I've never thought about being a doctor, maybe, or whatever it is, right? And it's like, but it comes in with such like fervor and grace and vitality and vibrance, and spirit's telling you to pay attention to the new realities that are being presented to you. So they're telling me it's kind of similar to like when we have past lives. There's like different versions of ourselves that we're living across different parallel realities. And it's almost like we're being shown right now like a splitting off point where we can add more onto our menu or our plate of what we're living in this life. And Spirit's gonna give you some options this week is what I'm hearing. Just like some new menu options. Try them on like you're trying on new clothes. Like, just like check it out. See if you like it. If you don't, it's okay too. There's no like discredit in it. You can try it on even for a while, like months, and see if it fits for you in your life. I don't know why they're doing this. They're skipping a lot of the mental understanding in a linear way that I typically try to tap into for you guys. It does feel like a random sequence. And again, nothing's random, but it feels random. Which tells me that there's a lot of time warping. There's a lot of time warping going on right now. Also, I want to mention, I don't know when this is coming out, but I'll let you guys know. I just shot a podcast episode with my friend Amber. I believe her channel is called Channel with Amber or Channeling with Amber, and I will let you guys know when that comes out. She's a psychic medium as well, and we talk all about timeline jumping and timeline hopping and accessing your highest timelines and the highest versions of yourself with the perspective of like, my typical way of doing that is a very logical way of channeling versus Amber's is very like sensation-based channeling. We can liken that to the sensation as the divine feminine, the logic is the divine masculine, and I've been learning her side of doing things. Like my guides have been guiding me into sensation for a while now. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. But okay, transurfing. All right, Spirit, where do you want to bring my attention for the collective for this week? Does that feel right? Does that feel right, you guys? They told me to it's like reshuffling. One more. This one? What do you mean the last one? They're like talking to me in my ear. One more? Back to. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Sometimes it takes a second to dial it in. Okay, I am my goal. I'm just going to read from this passage and then we'll jump into it and I'll pull some cards. If you have been ditched and are suffering from unrequited love, or if you are looking for love, you must first of all love yourself. If you do not yet feel that you can love yourself just as you are, start taking care of yourself and focusing on your own personal development. Enroll in a sports center, commit to studying a foreign language, try dressing differently. Look at what, like literally, Spirit. Like, great. Not in your usual style. Get a magic tattoo. On that, I have 2, I think, tattoo videos that I'm going to be uploading this week. So that's coming too. Find a magic talisman. I don't have my staff with me, but I'm like, I've got lots of crystals. Okay, so find a magic talisman, a pendant, or a ring. When you start taking care of yourself, you will find a new sense of purpose. Looking after yourself could become your goal if you have not already found one. This is a truly worthy goal and it will bring you success and abundance. You deserve the very best. And I'm going to read the next page, says interpretation of the passage, and then I'll give you my actual interpretation. If you guys love this, great. If you don't, great. Let me know either way in the comments, but this is where Spirit guided me today, so this is where we are. It is human nature that people are only pleased with themselves when other people happen to be pleased with them as well, and that they only love themselves when others love them. So this is all the permission to not look outside of yourself in order to give you validation for your choices, right? It would be like me saying to you guys, like, if you don't like this dress, I won't wear it. Like, it's like, no, like this was my expression today. And that's just a really surface level example. But loving yourself is the focus. So, and yet the world is a mirror. How can there be love in the reflection if the image itself does not contain it? The mirror cannot reflect what isn't there. It's a mirror cycle. So how do you break it? Okay, I'm not going to read all of this because I think you guys are going to get bored with me. And I also don't want to read it. I just don't. So here's what I'm going to say. The mirror, and gosh, I was thinking about this morning when I was talking on the podcast. The mirror of reality is constantly reflecting us back to us. What we think, what we feel, what we expect, our beliefs, our patterns, our conditioning, our potential, our shadows, everything, right? Now, what was that statement he said? He's like, how can there be love in the reflection if the image doesn't contain it? So well, he's talking about the image of the self, whatever. If the reflection doesn't have love in it, you are the love. So it's like, I think about this a lot with mirrors and the whole mirror principle. It's like everything is reflecting you back to yourself, but it's not always a direct reflection. Sometimes you are part of the mirrored reflection. Like you are part of like the painting of consciousness. So if the love is missing outside of you, you are the one that has that love for yourself internally, that self-acceptance, that self-validation, and all of that comes down to self-expression. How are you expressing yourself? I can't remember if I said this in a video before, but I've definitely written it in a post. The moment you express an energy from you and within you, you alchemize it, you anchor it, you bring it into reality. So sometimes for those of you that are walking through your lives right now and you're like, I feel like I'm really projecting my best self out there. But I don't know that I'm seeing it yet in the reflection, like in the mirror of reality, in this holographic reality. And here's the reality is that it's you. You are that thing. You are that reflection. Nothing needs to actually reflect back to you. And sometimes Source will hold back reflecting it to you to test you. Not that it's like a bad thing, but it's just like saying, have faith in you. Aren't you enough? Isn't your self-expression enough? You just moving into the act of expression as opposed to having to see then the results of that expression or what the expression causes in other people. It would be like, I'll only show up, like for example, myself, I'll only show up on the stream if there are 50 people present or whatever. And again, I'm bringing this down to like a concrete example. Source would say to me, but this is your self-expression, Emelina. Can't you just be happy with showing up and expressing yourself because this is what you want to do? And I'm not saying that's the energy that I'm in, because I'm not. Like literally, that's why I do this stuff. That's why I shoot these videos, is because it feels the most potent for me to express myself in these ways. Obviously, it has a lot of benefit across the board for growth, for visibility, for like actually sharing information and sharing consciousness and sharing personal growth and allowing you guys to learn off of my experience and my channel. The energy's just moving through really quick. So I hope that example works. So it's about remembering that if you're not seeing the reflection of yourself in your reality, or the reflection of your good efforts or your faith in your reality, that you are that thing. So you don't need anybody to reflect it to you necessarily. Of course, it will get reflected ultimately. It will come back to you ultimately, but that's not why we do this stuff. You know, the most important aspect of our personal development, this is in my humble opinion, how I've been guided, is your own personal self-expression. Who do you become in the act of expressing yourself? What do you choose to hold back? What do you choose to not hold back? What facets of yourself do you call forward? What do you choose to say? What do you choose to not say? Why do you choose to hold certain things back? When is a good time to start expressing yourself more fully? Is there a reason why you do that? And is it of service to you? I'm thinking these thoughts all day. I literally thought it before I jumped off stream. I was like, I feel like I should confront something going on in my environment. And I was like, I have a hesitation. I was like, why do I have a hesitation about it? I was like, should I be more uninhibited? I was like, yes, I think I should. And I was like, it's now the time. I was like, no, it doesn't feel right. But I'm not saying no to the expression. I'm saying no to the timing. So I will express myself in the way that needs to be done in a conflict-based situation when that time feels right. But I will not hold myself back. That's like the decision I made before I jumped on stream. So it's kind of like that. Okay, and now I'm going to read the rest of the passage because, and this is random. The energy is going to feel random. I feel like I'm bopping around like a maniac right now. Hi, Michelle. The ping pong ball. Yes. That's literally how I feel right now too. I'm like, what? You guys are leading me in a random sequence of events here. It's not logical. That's all right. Okay. Secondly, love is like a boomerang. If you send love out into the world, it will come back to you. You will experience love, including love for yourself, if you shine with love instead of emanating fear, mistrust, and disapproval. Those things also apply to the self. okay? If you're emanating fear, mistrust, or disapproval to the self, shutting yourself down, self-censoring. I'm not saying to say everything that's on your mind, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you say way too much. Like, I'm one of those that I was so highly censored for the majority of my life. I just would like say the most diplomatic thing and would never say what was on my mind. I would never really tell people what I was thinking. So my practice is always like bringing it forward, like say what's on your mind. It depends on which facet of your experience you are occupying. And maybe I'll talk about this more in another video. But for you guys to know, I'm always taking like the facets of where I am. I'm always speaking from my perspective. In addition to my channeling, it's my perspective. So I'm generally speaking from the perspective of somebody that's very awake, that's doing the work, that has no ill intent. You know, and they're literally channeling this through. I'm forever going to be self-conscious streaming and channeling because you never know what's going to come through, and I can't memorize it because that would literally be not embodying the energy. So it's always going to happen to me. But it's like, which facet of yourself or of the conversation or of the energy as a whole are you occupying and taking your stance from which you then like look and perceive the world? If that makes sense. They're just telling me, this is actually coming through as a download that you guys are receiving. They're showing me a transmission. It's like, you can change the facet of you that you look out into the world from. And depending on which part of you you're viewing your world, everything looks differently. Just take that into account. Everything looks differently. You might think you know what's going on, and then if you take another facet, everything changes. Who knew? You didn't know what's going on. Like, there are just a lot of different perspectives we can take to understand our world, ourselves, and the people around us. And they're saying to me, you might be very surprised at who you might become if you were to embrace another facet of yourself that is just as true and just as authentic. Okay. I don't need that. I'm done. Okay. I'm over it. Spirit, where would you like to guide me next? I feel like I am ping pong balling you guys. They're like, just read a sentence out of where we're going to lead you. I'm like, okay, we'll do it. I feel like I'm being tested right now. You guys are probably going to feel that way this week. It's like, I feel like they're testing me. Like, do you trust? Because we're overriding your logic and you don't like it. You know why I don't like it? I'm like, oh, but what if they don't like what you're telling me to do? And they're like, that's the point. So like, watch how I'm moving through this channel, watch the energy of it. That's the stream of consciousness. And it is being given to you in a transmission, which is like a set of downloads and codes, understanding, consciousness delivered to you via source that you can unpack in your own meditation or just sit with for the week and you'll just get the downloads. All right, source, where do you most want our attention right now? They said we are testing you. I told you. You're being tested this week. It's not like a pass-fail. It's not a pass-fail test. The spiritual test this week is, can you let go of what sequence of events you think should happen in a row? And can you give it up to source? Follow the randomness. The ping pong ball energy is of highest service. If you can follow the randomness, then you're proving to source and spirit through your action that you are willing to be moved into place for everything you want to manifest, everything God wants you to have, way better than anything you've ever thought, honestly. That's a little caveat there. Well, they're telling me, plus I have this issue with manifestation and like manifestation communities and all the talk around it. It's like, I don't attach to my manifestations because I know that God can knock it out of the park for me. And I know that if I attach to like, it has to look this way, I have to have this perfect car, or this has to, I don't know, like it has to be this way exactly. God's got much bigger realities for us that look way more awesome than any way we can think. So in my mind, the way that I manifest is I always have ideas of what I want, and I do have a vision board, but I really open up more to the concepts or the ideas. Like an idea that I have is a life beyond my wildest imagination. So I'm constantly in the space of like, these are the things I would like. This is how I'd like to express myself. But make it beyond anything I can possibly think of myself. And how fun is that? But in the process, we have to learn to have faith, and our faith is being tested this week, which is really just your patience is being tested. You're being thrown around like a rag doll because Spirit wants you. Oh, got it. Spirit, thanks for the download. Spirit wants you to release, to let go, to surrender, to relax, so that you can be automatically guided and moved into place with where you're actually supposed to be, which is nothing logical or linear in the way that you think it should be done. The logic is getting in the way right now. I don't have an explanation behind that, but that's the deal. And my hand stopped here, so I'm going to trust this. Okay. The chapter section, if you got, for anyone that has this book, it's page 338. It says breaking through stereotypes. Oh, you guys aren't going to understand that. That's referencing previous material in the book. Okay. How things can knock you off track. Ask whether pendulum is imposing. Let me just read this and then I'll explain it. Okay, got it. Breaking through stereotypes. The way that I'm going to explain this, I would just read the passage, but it's not going to make sense if you haven't read the previous 300 pages of this book. Okay, so he calls these things pendulums. I'm going to explain them in a way that is easier for me to understand. Collective thought patterns, okay? So collective thought patterns are energy entity types that have a lot of weight behind them, meaning when a lot of people think a collective thought, it builds and then it grows into an entity form, its own alive energy. It becomes an entity. And then that entity acts in self-preservation and acts to pursue the things that it's been programmed for and to thwart anything else. Now, this author refers to this as pendulums. The pendulum is the swing, right? The back and forth between an energy. This author specifically says to not engage in pendulums because the moment you, and this is your mind, the moment your mind engages in the pendulum or the collective thought pattern of whatever it is, you get caught in the energy of the pendulum, and the pendulum energy, the collective thought power of that entity type overrides your personal will and your personal ability to think for yourself. I'll give you guys some fast examples on collective entity types that have more weight than any individual. And the second you step into it, you can't break, it's hard to break out of. You have to disengage from it entirely in order to break out of it. Anything political. Red versus blue, green versus, I don't know, white, like whatever. Anything political. Those are huge entity types that the second you start engaging with it, it takes over your ability to think for yourself. What else, you guys? There's a ton. Any level of communities, all right? Anything that's got like a really long-standing established pattern. Don't hate the messenger, okay? I'm just gonna point some things out that run in this way of thinking. Yogic practices. For those of you that follow any of the Kundalini yoga stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's an entire matrix of thought behind a specific practice of Kundalini yoga that can be inherently positive or it can throw you off. Recovery communities can be similar. It's like anything that is a collective pattern of a lot of people thinking that create rules of thought or rules of behavior. Essentially, this is one of my patterns of thinking and belief that has come through my own guidance over the years, which is it's good until it's not. So it's like, you know, everything has light and everything has shadow. And I do my best to engage with the light and then to disengage so that I don't get into shadow energies that are involved in like collective entity types or patterns. Religions fall under this as well. Again, no shade to any of it. It's literally just like when a lot of people come together and think in a certain way, it creates an entity type energy that can override your own energy. So the point here is breaking through stereotypes. So breaking through the ideas and the norms that other collective thought energies, collective patterns, cultural standards have created for us to live our lives. And you're going to probably feel like this too. Right now, I'm like, you guys, this isn't going the way I wanted it to. I'm like, I don't know that I love this. And they're like, we don't mind. The point was, were you willing to try something different? And I'm like, okay, fine. Now I would like to make this a little more logical. So I'm going to throw in a little free will and say, let's make it a little more logical. That just fell out of the book. It says, be here now. So be present this week, be with your breath, focus on the now, don't get caught up in the future. You will end up engaging in more anxiety patterns that you're probably not going to want to be into. So be here now, be present. Anything you can do to be present. This is also about breaking through stereotypes, okay? So out of these two cards, what just popped out is the Engineer and the Rebel. All right, the Engineer is the ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. This is our mind's ability to logically and linearly invent a process to follow, a set of actions to move forward with in order to get a specific end result, right? What's coming forward that is almost in direct conflict with this energy is Spirit's ability to take over through surrender, which they're showing through the Rebel card, okay? The light attributes of the Rebel is it challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. All right, this is a very, this is becoming much more logical now. They're saying whatever you've been taught about spirituality, don't let that override what your heart feels is right now. And I don't completely understand this energy, but you may be challenged this week in what other communities that have a lot of thought power might think you should do in order to be spiritual or be on the right wave or be righteous. And they're saying move to the beat of your own drum, that you know better for yourself what needs to happen than anyone else does for you. But in order for you to be in sync with source and spirit in that way, you have to let go of the idea that it would have to make sense or be logical or linear. And they're showing me the Steve Jobs quotes right now. You can only connect the dots looking backward after you've done everything. Not from looking forward. You can only connect the dots from living through the experiences and then looking back and say, how did that all connect? And that takes quite a bit of faith. So that's where you're going to be tested this week is, are you in faith and are you patient to the degree and the ability that you're willing to take random inspired actions that don't necessarily make sense, to move to the beat of your own drum, and to trust that spirit is leading you through your own internal impulse. And then you'll be given, hindsight is 20/20, right? You'll be given in hindsight the logic for it all to make sense afterwards, okay? And that afterwards might be in 3 days, even. It could be in a week, it could be in a month, it could be in 10 years, I'm even piecing together things now that are actions I took 10 years ago. I'm like, oh wow, I get it. So it can take a minute. I'll jump into your comments after the read as well. Thank you guys for being here with me. Okay, I'm going to pull some prayer cards. This is from my prayer card deck. If you guys haven't heard yet, this is my prototype. I'm making an oracle card deck. And I'll let you know when I get a sales page up for that. I'm going to pre-launch it so you guys can follow along the process of me making it. Okay, Spirit, what do we most need to know this week? I'm going to pull an animal card as well. Welcome to the merry-go-round. Is that the right word? Merry-go-round of life. You're just like on a cycle, okay? And it might not make sense. And you might get bored. And that's gonna be okay. Just trust. Just trust. Okay, I pray to see and believe in my higher potential, and I pray to receive that which I don't know to ask for. These are the 2 prayers for the week. And the 2 cards that came out are the oyster and the dolphin. Okay, let me just piece this together. I pray to see and believe in my higher potential. You guys are holding on to your higher potential under lock and key right now, okay? So the oyster, right, has a pearl in there, that little bit of sand that really agitates the oyster. Because of that agitation, that frustration, it's coating that little grain of sand over and over again to create this beautiful pearl that the world doesn't see until you open up. This could be you're clamming up, you don't want to show your gifts to the world. This could be you're afraid of judgment, so you're not stepping into your highest potential, or you're really holding back and stepping into your highest potential because you're afraid that the pearl you've created just might not be good enough. But the reality is the conditions you've been put into are perfect. Every pearl is going to look different, right? The way oysters create pearls, it's not a mechanical process. Every single pearl is different. There are different variations and movements on the surface of the pearl. Some are more perfect looking, but it doesn't, if I were looking at pearls and they're showing me a pearl necklace I bought in Sicily when I was 19, when I studied abroad, I bought a necklace where every pearl was irregular, and I was told that it wasn't good. I don't know how to explain that. And I didn't care. I was like, what's not good about this? It's gorgeous. Every single pearl is different. That's what they're showing me to explain you guys is embrace your own imperfections, knowing, it's so cliche to be knowing that they're perfect, but it's what else could you do? You're the oyster. You were given the conditions, you did your best, you're accelerating your own higher potential, your own higher awareness, you're working with and alchemizing with the conditions that you've been given, the choices. There's nothing else to assume but that your pearl is perfect, that it's beautiful, that it will be admired by the right people, okay? Stepping into your highest potential they're showing me a humiliating process. It involves you being I'm enough as I am. People are gonna see me as I am. I can't polish and perfect it. It's literally because if you do that, you can, but at some point the facade's gonna break and then you're gonna have to show who you are. So you have to be okay with who you are. You have to be okay with whatever it is you've come into. So for example, because I like to be transparent and vulnerable in general, it's one of my superpower groupings of traits is that I love, for me, I'm in my highest potential right now, streaming and talking to you guys, but in no way is this a perfect thing for me. And the podcast episode I shot this morning with Amber, that didn't feel perfect either, but is it? Yes. Ultimately, this is my personal self-expression in its most authentic state, but it's not perfect for me in the way that even I was saying on the podcast earlier, I was I would have liked this to have been a lot more logical. And a previous version of myself really would I would be send me all the questions ahead. I'm gonna read them all. I'm gonna type out 1,000 words on this whole thing, and then I'm gonna fucking memorize it. And I'm not that person anymore. I can't do that anymore. It's exhausting. It's a mask. It's a version of myself that is not real. It's not true. It's not authentic. It was created for me to survive and function in a society that had no heart. I was raised to be totally emotionally detached. This is something I talk about on the podcast as well with Amber, is that emotional maturity is something I had to learn. I did not have the ability to emotionally attach to caregivers. It was not a thing I had growing up. And it's funny because I've been reflecting a lot, and maybe this is what you guys are doing because this is why this is coming up in the stream right now. I've been reflecting a lot in my last long-term relationship, and I was I don't think I was emotionally open in that one either. Like, I think I was totally detached. And I was like, how did that even work? And I'm like, oh, because we connected logically really, really well. And it's like, I've changed. So for you guys, you've changed. In that process of change, honestly, most of you are probably going through a similar process to me. It's disengaging from the matrix, from what the mind says you're to do. It's engaging with emotional vulnerability, with the heart, with your true authentic self, which is never going to be logical. That's always a heart-based expression. It's how you express yourself. That's your true self. And whatever developed in you throughout your entire life as a process is your pearl. It is your highest awakening. It is your highest potential. And you have to be okay with it. And transparently, that process I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling, because this is likely what it's going to look like, because it's what's coming through right now, is that might make you a little self-conscious. It might look a little less than perfect. And I know, like, many of you in the comments, and like my friend and everybody will be like, Emelina, you're perfect. It's great. We loved it. And I know, but the experience of me expressing myself this way, it feels like this little oyster. It feels like I'm still a little reserved in my heart. I'm still like, I still don't know if everyone's going to like this part of myself. I feel like the masked version of myself would be more popular, but she's not real. She's not real. And people did enjoy that version of myself, but it's not real. It's a fabricated version of me in order to get approval from people that I don't even know if I want their approval. And the people that actually love and adore me don't mind how I show up, and how I show up authentically in any moment is perfect for all of them. So can it be perfect for me? That is the energy of the oyster. Now I'm going to tap into the dolphin, because the dolphin was right behind it, okay? And I feel like, oh, the dolphin was tied into this card. I pray to receive that which I don't know to ask for. This is about embodying your highest states of play, of joy, of happiness. Whenever I think of dolphins, I think of the sun. This is radiating your inner authenticity, talking with your inner child, giving your inner child like full reign on your life. I feel like my inner child is very much with me between my hairstyle and my dress today. It's literally like here. So like, bring your inner child with you wherever you're going this week. Embody your inner child. Embody the probability and possibility of happiness coming to you in many different ways that you didn't expect. Dolphins are highly psychic creatures. I'm literally just getting psychic data, so I'm gonna spit it out for whoever it's for. These are highly psychic creatures. They're also known to be Pleiadian starseeds that like come in. I think it's Pleiadian for dolphins. So you might have connection to Pleiadian lifetimes, Pleiadian parallels, Pleiadian past lives. You might want to do a past life or parallel life regression. I have one in my video feed on YouTube. It's the Akashic Records parallel life regression, if that's something you want to try out. They're showing me a lot of green. There's actually a heart opening or heart awakening that's going on for a lot of you that will feel like brand new orgasms. That is how that is coming through, whether that is a sexual orgasm or it is an orgasm like your self-expression is just leaving you like expressed. That is coming through really powerfully. The downloads are going to be really, oh my gosh, really expansive from the heart. They're showing me orgasmic expression. So take that wherever that takes you guys. I don't know what that's gonna look like for each of you. Obviously I could start stringing some things together, but I will leave that to you, okay? But it's really emotional. It's an emotional orgasm, an emotional release, but it's an emotional, let me explain the orgasm. It's an emotional release of ecstasy in the heart, of joy, of pure unadulterated happiness. That is an emotional release. It's not an emotional release of pain. It's an emotional release of ecstasy. That might not look the way you think when you hear orgasm. they're showing me someone like sitting in nature with a tree and breathing with the tree. If you guys haven't tried this, try this. I haven't done it in a while, but it's channeling through. Breathing with the tree and then allowing the tree to feed you your breath. I haven't done this in a few years. I totally forgot that was even a technique. That is an orgasm. Now, yeah, emotional release of ecstasy. Those of you that have partners, this is a tantric practice. It could be done sexually, but it doesn't have to be done sexually. This could be done just with a partner. How do I explain it? It's just like the tree. If you're single, do it in nature, do it with the tree. If you have a partner and they're up for this, synchronize your breathing together where their breath becomes your breath becomes their breath, and you're literally breathing as a unit. Like the energy cycles between each individual up the spine, up the kundalini, and you're sharing that energy where you become one breath. That's another way of working with that energy. And I pray to receive that which I don't know to ask for. Oh, the rest. This is about removing what I was telling you guys earlier, like removing the ideas of what, it's not removing the ideas of what you want, it's just not attaching to them, because things can be so much better. Andrea, I'm seeing my husband asked me to do that with him. Do it! Wait, did he? Kylie got chills when you're speaking of Tantra. Synchronized breath is a tantric breath. There are a lot of different activities in Tantra, but I feel like, without being an expert in it, I feel like it really comes down to breath synchronization, because you're sharing your energy, which is your life force, which is your sexual energy. So obviously only do that with someone you trust. Oh my gosh, Andrea, I adore that your husband said to do that. He's a gem. Like, who says to do that? I'd be like, sign me up. I'm here for this. Oh my gosh, I'd literally be like, what? What did you just, like, if someone told me that, I'd be like, what did you just say to me? How do you, like, what? How do we, I'd be floored. I don't think anyone's ever said that to me or thinks that way with me, but I'd be like, how do you get me? You just get me. Okay, so more on this. This is like, you guys can see the dots. This, again, the dots will connect as you look back. This is also opening up a portal. They're telling me, Andrea, he's a fucking unicorn. That's beautiful. You deserve a unicorn. You're a unicorn too. I'm a unicorn. Bring me my unicorn. May you all receive unicorns. Okay, so that you're connecting the dots, looking back. This is opening up a portal of ecstasy. You know, this is funny because my guides have literally said to me every day for the last, like, I don't know, 10 to 14 days, like, my focus, I don't know if it's my word of the year, but like the intention, my focus, my guides have brought to paradise and ecstasy. And they've been telling me recently, paradise is the opposite of self-sacrifice. And ecstasy is the expression of paradise. So maybe just meditate on those words, paradise and ecstasy. They're focusing more, the energy's on ecstasy. And the ecstasy is a sensation from the heart that is opening up new possibilities of awareness for you to receive that which you don't know to ask for, to receive a brand new reality, totally new results, like miracles that you cannot even contextualize or think of mentally, that would just like throw you off your freaking socks. You'd be like, what? The universe really does love me. All right, I don't know. They had me pull the tarot deck. Do we pull a tarot card or no? Why not? What do I have to lose? Nothing. All right. Nothing. What's the vibe for the week, Spirit? Give me the vibe. Give me the vibe. Was that the vibe? I don't know. It flew up, but it didn't flip. If it's meant to come back, it'll come back. They always do. Okay, hang on. This isn't the standard Rider weight, so I get kind of confused with the images. Let me look this up first. It's the Three of Wands. If you guys know what that means, you can flag me down. I'm trying to remember, is that the one where he's like peering out into the distance with the globe with the orb? Because this looks like this. It's not quite as easy to, oh, but they're giving me a different message. Okay. So for this week, follow the yellow brick road. Okay. Follow the breadcrumb trail. The breadcrumb trail is not a logical or linear trail. It is going to come through as specific impulses for you to hop from one pillar to the next across this body of water, which is the body of consciousness that you don't know exactly what it is. It's like fast and unknowing. But the sun is here, shining the way, shining your light. So the actions will be very clear, easy to understand, well illuminated. You might be in the middle of a valley or a perceived depression or a perceived low, but it's actually that you are crossing. Oh my gosh, they're sending me like Christian. Oh, what is it? I follow some Christian channels, so some of that language comes through, but like I don't know the specifics. I don't know, you guys. You'll know. Like crossing the river. I don't know. It's River Jordan, something like that. You're crossing this like very unknown territory to get to your bliss, but if you notice, we can't see what the paradise looks like yet. We're just on the way to paradise. There are two peaks, which is telling me two major opportunities will present themselves this week. That's actually coming through really loudly. Two major opportunities are going to present themselves this week. Be careful of falling into your own negative perception or idea that they might be too good to be true. Falling into like false beliefs, false self-centered beliefs. I don't know exactly what that means, but you can unpack that. Also, this is showing me like abundance. There's two of them. You're being shown the trail. All of the elements are present. We have earth with the pillars or the steps. We have water, which is depth, which is awakening. This is your intuitive spiritual ability. The earth is like the foundations, the actions, and the next step. Actually, the actions is really fire, but the sun is shining and illuminating your way. That is your fire. We have earth in the background. And then there's the perception of your thoughts of spirit in and around you, which is the air. Now let me read Three of Wands because I can't remember what the actual Rider-Waite card looks like. Okay, so the first thing that this deck says is luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I'm not going to read the rest of it. Literally that says it, okay? Follow your breadcrumb trail. Follow the yellow brick road. If you guys want to know what the yellow brick road is, it is a combination of embracing the feeling or sensation of ecstasy in whatever way is safe for you to do that. It's following the trail that spirit is setting forth for you. Again, I feel like I'm being hit over the head with a textbook with this. Is not logical. Hi, Nirvana Rising. Andrea, I just saw your comment too. I'll skim through your comments after. Oh my gosh. Not logical, okay? But the path is illuminated. The sun is very prominent. It's also centered. It's also balanced. It's also casting light across the entire spectrum of your awareness. The next steps, your yellow brick road, will be very, very easy to see. Don't avoid it. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. I love the comments. Follow the breadcrumb trail, okay? That means take the next crumb that spirit gives you. The next instinct, the next, I should probably do this. The next inspired action, just take it, okay? The trail itself won't make itself known ahead of time. It becomes illuminated as if you're like Lara Croft or something. Like you're in like an ancient city, you are crossing this river and it's magical, and each like new pillar pops out of the water when you make the next step. So like when you select the step, it like stamps down and you get like a light code, and then the next one pops up. Like that's how it's being shown to me, like a video game. Or like a magical movie, or like Indiana Jones. So like you have to trust the process that when you jump, you're crossing this vast ocean to get to your paradise, okay? To get to your kingdom. to get to your castle, to get to your highest potential, the life you want to live. And you have to trust each breadcrumb, okay? That's how we're being led right now. Take the breadcrumb. And then once you take it, the next action will come up. The next thought, whatever the inspiration is, will make itself known ahead of you. And you'll go, oh, that's the next one. And you're going to be testing your faith because you have to trust that even though all you see is ocean, you don't see any evidence. This is what the ocean means. You don't see any evidence of things working or looking the way that you want them to, that whenever you take a next step, the next action is shown, or the next outcome, or the next relationship. I don't know. You're going to be given the resources as you move, but you're being tested. You have to move. You have to cross this ocean to get to your paradise without having the Google Maps. Okay? The Google Maps comes from spirit as you walk, as you hop. It's Easter, right? Like a little bunny rabbit. Like hop on each. The next one will come forward. I think that's the message. I think you guys get it. Okay. I'm going to look through your comments now. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you enjoy my style of awareness and things, I'll leave links below for you to work with me. Okay. As always, me trying to figure out how to see all the comments is a project here. Let's see if I can figure this out. All right. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Drea. Andrea. Hello, Kylie. Hi, Nirvana Rising. Oh my gosh, I adore you guys. Everybody else watching in the future, I adore you as well. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what resonated, or if you get any logical know-how to the randomness that they sent through the stream. I'm open to that as well. I actually really love being a channel. It's also like... it is pretty vulnerable. I just show up now. I'm like, whatever. I'm okay with it. If you told me 6 years ago this is who I was going to become, I'd be like, no. No. If you guys knew how logically based I was and how skeptical I could be. It's funny because I feel like that's what makes me so relatable in how I talk about spirituality and how I explain things and how practical I can make them, because I am just as metaphysically oriented, like cosmic, magical, as I am like, what the F is this that doesn't make any sense to me. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean aliens are real? And then I'm like, yeah, aliens are real. I got experience. But, you know, I'm a walking paradox. I've been like called that since I was a kid. Like, I literally just embrace opposites. Okay, Michelle, everything you're saying is so relatable. Amazing. I'm glad. Andrea's gonna watch from the beginning. Yes. Okay, Michelle, I feel like right now what's confusing me is that everyone around me wants to be logical instead of following where my spirit intuition leads me, and part of me thinks that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm actually receiving that as well a little bit. People are, you know, our realities are changing, and I feel like people are grasping at straws at like what is reality for them, because we're actually all in time warps right now, so reality is very subjective. So it makes sense that people that are a little bit less aware, that are more involved in their ego, are going to be clinging more to logic. So just be mindful of it and don't follow the logic for now. Andrea, yes, it's wild because people could see it as so perfect, but it feels uncomfortable putting your authentic self out there. Yeah. I'm tired of being afraid of this. My soul is like, set me free. Yes, totally. You know what's funny too is when I watch these streams, and this will be good for some of you that do videos like this, is like, the way that I feel while I'm shooting, I make a note of it and I try to call things out just to keep myself present on stream. And then when I watch it back as an observer, not as me. And I realize that you guys can't tell how I feel. It's literally just me. And I would never judge myself. Like, as I watch myself from the outside, I'm like, that's fine, Emelina, why are you freaking out? But it's because we're not quite sure about the stability of ourselves and how we feel and how we think about ourselves in the moment almost, if that makes any sense. Kylie, your inner child is with you. You bought some Trix cereal. That sounds great. It sounds fun. Emotional release of ecstasy. Kylie got chills with you speaking of Tantra. Yeah, I love Tantra stuff. I'm going to talk about that a little more in the future as well. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Andrea. Spirit always using you. I know, right? Like everything I do is a channel. Michelle, I'm wearing a dolphin ring today. That's hilarious. That's how that message was for you and for everybody else too, but for you for sure. That's my spirit animal. I wrote a poem about it. Yeah, dolphins are actually really special. And you've been channeling the Pleiadians. Yeah, all very, very related. Dolphins, I'm pretty positive, are Pleiadian energy. Exchanging breaths. That's how sexual that energy is. Michelle said, I love exchanging breath while kissing. Yes. Nirvana Rising got here late in time to send you love and gratitude. I'm here to receive it, baby. Amazing. All right, you guys. That's what I got. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful little show. I got one of my paintings with me. I did this one before I went to Mexico, and the light codes are really much more simplistic. And the one that I did after I got back from Mexico, they're like really potent light codes. And I'm like, wow, you could tell like how much my consciousness expanded just in the paintings. Also, you guys might be tripping over your words a little bit because I feel like I'm tripping. Like my energy is thinking faster than I'm speaking. Whale energy has been really prevalent lately for you. Similar to dolphin energy, whales, also in addition to however that feels for you, whales are like going really deep. The safety of the depth below the surface, the safety of the love below the surface, knowing that everything is steady and secure. If you think about the ocean, it's like, you might see how choppy it is at the surface, right? But the deeper you go into the ocean, the more secure it is, the more stable it is. So, Michelle, crossing the Jordan. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. That's what I thought the phrase was, but I don't know enough to speak on that. But I think that message is for specific people. Okay, that's what I've got. Lots of love, you guys. For those of you that celebrate Easter, happy Easter. Have an amazing week. Don't be too logical because we're prepping for a very powerful solar eclipse in Aries on the 8th that I will shoot an energy update for. Okay, lots of love. Talk to you soon. Bye.